let's check your work for part 3. But before we do, remember that for part 3, you had to determine whether or not the arguments were valid or invalid, and if valid, whether or not they're sound or unsound. So if you didn't do that second part before watching any more of this, go back and figure out, are those arguments sound or unsound? And then you can come back and check your work. All right, so part 3, number 1 is valid by contrary, but it's unsound because the premise statement is false. All dolphins are not polar bears, as this premise statement claims. Number 2 is valid by subalternation, and that is a sound argument. Number 3, I wonder if you got tricked on this one. This is invalid because of an existential fallacy. Can you figure out what it is? What's the existential fallacy here? It's right here. If it's false that some suicide survivors are comeback kids, that means it's true, by contradiction, that all suicide survivors are comeback kids, which would mean that this argument would then be valid either by subcontrary or by subalternation. But here's the problem. There's no such thing as a suicide survivor, any more than there's a such thing as a murder survivor. Okay, you can be a suicide attempt survivor. Your attempt failed, but a suicide survivor doesn't exist. Oh, you probably hate me now for this one. You feel tricked and betrayed by me, but sorry.